Hey everyone, Gill Gross here, post-match Novak Djokovic versus Miomir Kecmanovic, Serbia Open 2022 quarterfinal. If you're not here for spoilers, click off the video in 3, 2, 1. Djokovic through in 3 sets, and he's through to his first semi-final of 2022, beating Kecmanovic, a man top 20 in the race right now, sitting at 19, who's been very impressive throughout the season, and a match that we would have gotten had Novak been allowed to play his first round match at the Australian Open. So we get it here. It was a good one, and Djokovic continues to show clear improvement match after match after match, which is the first thing I want to get into. Let's backtrack. Start with clay season, forget Dubai. Alejandro Davidovich-Fokina, that was a match. My clear stance on it was Novak did not have the physical fitness to beat Davidovich-Fokina in that match. Now he comes a week later, plays Laslo Djere. A lot of things were not working well for Djokovic in that match. And the dynamic of it almost felt like it was really on Djere's racket. Djere was creating more damage on a more consistent basis in that match. However, Novak with a big push to win the second set, and now you're going into the third. It feels a lot like the ADF match where Novak again made a big push to win the second and then had nothing left in the gas tank for the third. In this match, he had plenty left in the gas tank. And over the course of over 3 hours, Djokovic had the legs and the lungs to grind and defend. His return of serve was exceptional in this match. And although it felt throughout the whole time like it was up to Djere, Novak's defense and his return and his consistency were always going to make it very difficult on Djere to win the match. And Novak was going to ask a lot of questions there. Djere could not answer them in a way that saw him come through the finish line. So a lot of things were not right for Novak. The feel wasn't great. The serve wasn't great. The offensive baseline game just wasn't there. The forehand really still wasn't there. But he had the fitness. He showed that improvement in the physicality standpoint to go over 3 hours and to be able to grind and defend throughout the duration of the match. Now you know that he's going to have to be even better than Kecmanovic, against Kecmanovic, rather. Because Kecmanovic is not a player that is going to give you enough mistakes to allow you to win the match if you're not able to create damage and finish and force the offense a little bit more. You knew Novak was going to have to play better. He did in this match. He absolutely did. In this match, it felt like a lot of the racket skills started to come together, where they were absent against Djere. He had the legs, but no racket skills. In this match, the racket skills really came together, and there were a lot of things improved. So I'm going to break down the match in a little bit more detail specifically, but first, a quick shout out to PlayYourCourt. PlayYourCourt is the place to go if you're looking for a local coach, practice partner, or match. The #1 reason people quit playing tennis is because they can't find anyone to play with, and I don't want that to happen to you. So I've arranged a 50% discount for you to join the PlayYourCourt community at the link below, playyourcourt.com/GillGross. The link is in the description. 50% out discount. So I want to start with Djokovic's run of games from 2-3 in the third set. That's my biggest takeaway from the match, is how well Djokovic played from 2-3 on serve down in the third set. So 3-2 down, I should say. This was pretty absurd. The next 18 points, 16-2, won by Djokovic. But the 2 points that Kecmanovic won, both Kecmanovic winners. So what that means is that anytime the ball hit Djokovic's racket, for the last 18 points of the match, he never missed. He did not miss a ball when it hit his racket. Both points Kecmanovic won were winners. So you might say, okay, well, was Novak D'ing up? Was he playing safe? Was he playing conservative? Nope, not at all. In that stretch of 18 points, Djokovic hit 6 winners and forced 2 errors. In about half of them, he won on his own terms off the ground. Another 4 of them, he hit on returned serves. Kecmanovic, 2 double faults, serving to stay in the match, and 2 unforced errors before that. That's it. Misha didn't do that much wrong. He really didn't. That was just a ridiculous run of points from Novak Djokovic. And that, for the first time, felt like it came together, and we saw Djokovic's best level, at least in a moment with high tension. Definitely for the first time all clay court season. So that was the total package there. We saw it for the first time at the end of the third set. Just to kind of highlight the point I was making previously about Novak's racket skills coming together. He was not relying on this 18.4 games straight for Djokovic on this stretch. He was not really relying on Kecmanovic to miss. He was winning a ton of points on his own terms, and he was never missing. It was very impressive stuff. I thought that there were a couple of areas where Djokovic separated himself from Kecmanovic. He had more security in his game, less misses by Novak from offensive positions. If you look at the way the second set played out, that was a very tight and competitive set. But in both games that Kecmanovic was broken, he missed attacking forehands late in the game. And I'm talking zero pressure kind of sitter or floater forehands. Not sitter on top of the net, but mid-court forehands that he was looking to really take control of the point and should have and missed. And it felt like those errors really were never really coming off of Novak's racket. So I thought that was one of the differences. The other one is just the dynamic returning, the dynamic first serve returning, especially. Djokovic in set 3 winning 76% of his first serve points. Kecmanovic winning 50% of his first serve points. And I think, and for the match, it was Djokovic winning 68% and Kecmanovic winning 59%. So this is slow clay. We know that a lot of serves are going to be neutralized, but I felt like the amount of the service box, the amount that Djokovic can cover far surpasses what Kecmanovic can cover. Kecmanovic lacks some length. He's not, Djokovic is 6'3" with long limbs, and he's very rangy, and we know about the explosiveness and the flexibility that he brings out of his split step on the return. Watching this match, I felt like when Djokovic hit good serves, they rarely came back, and Novak was able to limit Kecmanovic's purchase off of his first serve a lot more than Kecmanovic was able to limit the purchase that Djokovic was getting off of his first serve. And you just look at that. Again, we can look at the stretch of points. Let's highlight that run of games from 2-3. Djokovic got 4 unreturned serves. Kecmanovic got 0. That was a big difference. And I wanted to look because I just noticed it just seemed like Kecmanovic didn't have great coverage. Now, he's a great returner. Kecmanovic is a really good returner. Returns the second serve great, very compact, and you could put a highlight reel of great forehand returns by Kecmanovic in this match. There were a ton of them. Great forehand returns. But every time it was when Novak would miss his spot and Kecmanovic made him pay. What about when Djokovic hit his spot? It felt like Kecmanovic could never really get a good return back whenever Novak made an actual good serve. It turns out Kecmanovic is 9th worst over the course of the last 52 weeks in ace percentage against. So the only players who get aced more often than Kecmanovic are Tiafoe, Bautista Agut, Isner, Basilashvili, Rublev, Pablo Carreño Busta, Filip Krajinovic, Hugo Humbert, and Riley Opelka. There are some good returners in that mix. It's a lot of players who return from a very tight return position. They return close to the baseline. They stand in, like Humbert. It's some players who aren't very nimble, like Opelka and Isner and Basilashvili. But, you know, it's not, it's a group that makes sense. And Kecmanovic, it did strike me that he just does not return in the same dynamic way as Novak. So that's where I felt Novak had an edge. Where I didn't really think Novak had much of an edge is in those rhythmic, lateral, neutral baseline rallies. Kecmanovic was awesome. I mean, he is so solid off of both wings, consistent, changes direction well, great depth, heavy ball, heavy enough off the backhand, plenty heavy on the forehand. He is so good in those rhythmic baseline rallies when he's kind of moving side to side, and that's not where Djokovic had an advantage in this match. I thought Kecmanovic was with him toe to toe, and it was very impressive. The last thing I want to point out that Djokovic did tactically is countering with down the line defense. I thought this was essential because Kecmanovic is so good in these rhythmic lateral baseline rallies. He's very, very good at cutting off an angle and attacking down the line. If he anticipates that you're going to go cross court, and if Djokovic, let's say, hits a running forehand from the deuce side and drops it short on the cross court, Kecmanovic is so good moving in, taking time away, and or it doesn't necessarily need to be moving in. He takes time away. He takes the ball early on the rise, changes direction down the line, attacks into the open court. Very good at that. Djokovic defending down the line was something that he started to do more and more in the second and the third set to move Kecmanovic back, to not allow him to attack down the line, and to neutralize the point and to turn the point around. Again, it's just, especially on the deuce side, the forehand to forehand rally, which Djokovic was really losing. Throughout the first set, he was losing it. Throughout a lot of the second set, he was losing it. And I thought when he started to defend down the line to change those dynamics, it was a really positive thing for him. And again, a lot of that is because Kecmanovic plays so close to the baseline. You have to try to back him up. There's no real cross-court angle to hit into, and he's just going to really cut off that cross-court ball if you drop it short. Kecmanovic is too good at attacking it, so you have to go down the line. And Djokovic recognized that. That was a good adjustment by Novak. I do believe Djokovic should have an easier time against Montero or Khachanov in the next round. This was a really positive test. Now the question is, physically, I think, and mentally and emotionally, how is he going to handle this back-to-back-to-back situation? Is he going to hold up through the end of the week? That's a real question. But ultimately, lots of positive signs right now for Novak Djokovic. And in the case of Kecmanovic, I continue to like what I'm seeing from him in 2022. And he didn't have enough today, but he continues to be the real deal. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.